Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Season 1 of the Mo Talk Show, where money matters. I'm Mo Shehu, and throughout the season, we'll be helping young professionals and entrepreneurs make better money decisions. In this episode, we'll explore what you need to know before investing in your first piece of real estate, from how to reduce your transaction costs if you're a buyer, to how to maximize your property value as a seller. Before we meet our guests for today, go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow us online at the Mo Talk Shows.a across all social media platforms. For many people, buying a house is a momentous achievement. It allows them to build generational wealth, assures them a roof over the heads of their families, and enables them to make money from their assets. But what costs should first-time buyers be aware of before taking the plunge? How can sellers maximize the value of their properties? And what are some friction points between buyers, sellers, and real estate brokers that need to be addressed? To answer these questions, we brought on a property portfolio specialist who has facilitated millions of rands in real estate deals as the founder of Prestige Property Group. With me here in studio is Nomsa Nhlabathi. Nomsa, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence in studio.
Thank you so much for having me, Mo.
So let's put a quick debate to rest. Should you rent or buy?
Buy as quickly as possible, as many properties as possible.
So you say buy as early as possible, as many properties as possible. Where do you advise young first-time home buyers to get those funds from?
So I hear a lot of industry professionals talk about no money down deals.
Mm-hmm.
You do need money to transact in real estate, from the initial costs and but more than that, you can access credit. So if you have a history of paying your accounts properly, paying your credit cards properly, and earning an income, you talk to a bond originator about how much you can access initially.
So, buying is a great strategy. Buying property is a great strategy. But what would you say to those who have chosen the lifestyle of being digital nomads, especially considering, with the COVID-19 pandemic having forced everybody to work from home? Some people don't work from a single location. And young people might feel that buying a house means that you're stuck in one location for the rest of your life, or at least until that bond is paid off. What advice would you give to them, or how would you counter that argument that buying a house doesn't necessarily tie you to one location?
So the reason why a lot of people are renting is because somebody decided to buy that house and is not stuck to that location. If you buy a house, you have access to the perks of owning a property, but it does not mean that you are stuck there. You can sell the property, take your money and put it elsewhere. You can rent it out and have it there forever. It does not mean that you have to wait 20 or 30 years, however long your mortgage terms are, to get out of the sale.
And home ownership is a great first step, especially for first-time home buyers. What type of hidden or obscure or perhaps unknown costs should one be aware of before they take the plunge?
I wouldn't particularly say there are hidden costs. I think that we don't know what we don't know. It's important to talk to your property portfolio specialist and your attorney and discuss what it is you are paying for. If you do not take anything from this entire conversation, I need you to take this. Everything is negotiable. So if you're going to purchase a property, it's important to ask your attorney so they'll just tell you transfer costs are 130,000 rands. You have no idea what's in that 130,000 rands. Sit down and ask, so what is this for? What is this for? What's a postage? Why do I need to pay for postage stamp? What does that do? And a lot of them will take you through the entire process. And if you have time and very little money, you can ask, okay, so I realized I did not make use of this during this transaction. Can that be removed? Is this negotiable? Can we put that down instead of 20,000 rands? Can I pay 15? Everything is negotiable, from your bonds all the way to transfer.
Does it ever get to a point where real estate agents or brokers go, you know what, I don't want to negotiate anymore, the sale is off?
No, it should not. It could never get to a point where I say, I no longer want to breed. That's exactly why I'm here. So it is my fiduciary responsibility to make sure that you get the best out of the transaction. And if you say that you're not happy with a particular term or then it is my responsibility to make sure that you're happy. You understand why. And if you still understand why and still want to go back and say, I'm still not happy, then let's rectify that.
And so walk us a little bit through the current state of the SA real estate market and what advice you'd have for someone who's looking to invest in real estate in South Africa right now.
Okay, so we are where we've never been before. Our interest rates are the lowest that they've ever been. Investors are pouring in and sellers are also just selling at an insane rate. For the consumer, I would say sit down with a strategist before you hire a real estate agent. So a portfolio specialist would be that person, and think about what it is you're getting your money into. Choose the best area to buy and buy there. Negotiate the best terms for yourself because you can take advantage of everything and just go for it. So I think we're driven by fear quite a bit when it comes to making that first sale. Scrape fear. There's a lot of help. Take advantage of it. A lot of it is free. For investors, we depend on them to give us beautiful experiences with real estate. I would say to them, build well, build, not just sustainable homes or roof over our heads, but give us good experiences through our living spaces. There's enough money for it right now. And now's the time to think about building superb communities and not just basic homes.
So, scenario, you wake up tomorrow morning and there's 2 million rands under your pillow. Don't ask me how it got there. Now, would you advise someone to invest in residential or commercial property? And what are the pros and cons of each decision? Okay,
so you're investing this 2 million rands to make more money. The only way to make money is to solve an existing problem. Currently, in South Africa, we're sitting with a backlog in social housing of about 3.2 million homes. This is lower to middle class homes that need to be built. I think the most lucrative way to make money is to solve an existing problem. So residential homes, good builds for single families.
Residential homes, good builds for single families. And that makes even more sense because if you look at the current state of, the commercial real estate market with COVID having forced businesses to send their workers home, to work from home, offices are lying empty right now. And even though there's a bit of a resurgence coming back, and please feel free to correct me at any point if I'm wrong here, but with even with a little resurgence of workers coming back into the office, it still doesn't make sense to invest in commercial properties that may not be used, as opposed to residential homes that A, there will always be a need for, and that B, people are now using for both residential and commercial purposes, working from home.
Absolutely.
Makes sense. Yeah. Now, tell us about the most beautiful, most wonderful house you've ever come across in all your years in the industry.
I've come across a lot of beautiful homes.
The most memorable one?
It's the one in my mind. It is a triple volume luxury home, blue line kitchen designs, a sparkling pool, 2,800 squares of land by a river or a lake, 5 bedrooms, 7 baths.
Who are the extra 2 baths for?
I don't like sharing bathrooms.
You already have 5.
I think, but what if, so with the 5, you decide you're going to use mine because as a guest, no, just use the other bathrooms. I don't think that any of my people, my kids, my husband should be sharing bathrooms. So the extra 2 are for the guests. They can share the bathrooms.
And do you envision this place being built in a suburban, an urban, a rural area of the town or the city or the country?
So we get water everywhere in Joburg, so we can still do Joburg. I actually just sold a property in Bryanston that is right by the lake within an enclosure. So we do get, because that would be my only issue. It would just be, where do we get water? The Val as well. But I definitely am not moving to any rural areas. The companies I'd have, maybe if I got a helipad and a helicopter, we could do that, but
2 helipads, because you don't want to share with the guests.
I just don't share bathrooms. But we can share the helicopter.
You can share the helicopter.
Yeah.
What do you think, in your opinion, is the most common mistake that buyers make when it comes to real estate transactions?
I think the most common mistake buyers make is that they place the importance of their property on the property itself. The most important decision you're going to make when you're buying a property is where to buy the property. The suburb, the town is more important than the property itself. It makes no sense to have a shiny house in the slums. So it's important to build beautiful communities and make sure that you can enjoy the space that you're in. Because the experience of your home is limited to the suburb, the area, the street.
So, as they say, location, location, location.
You're catching on.
Perfect. So, and your answer to this might be a little bit biased considering you work in the industry, but how can buyers reduce the costs of the real estate transaction? So I noticed early on you mentioned that it's possible for you to negotiate everything in a real estate transaction. Are there any other ways beyond negotiation that automatically work in your favor to lower the cost of the transaction?
Hire Prestige Property Group.
Nice. That was very, very nice. On the other hand, what's a common mistake that sellers make in real estate transactions?
The common mistake that sellers make is overpricing their properties. We just think that if there's a willing buyer and a willing seller, that's enough. But there can never be a willing seller. So just to put this into context, if you're buying a property, you've been shopping for about 237 days before you make a decision. If you put your property on the market 2 weeks ago and somebody who's been shopping for 200 days sees it, they're aware of what's happening in the market. They have spoken to people, they have seen properties. So it's important to price it right first time to make sure that you can get the best out of it. If you price it incorrectly, you stand a chance of having it being bought below market value.
Below valuation.
Yeah.
And how can sellers maximize the value of their real estate assets? So you mentioned in the beginning, obviously picking the right location is important. But when you're selling a house, assume you've got a great location, but you're also competing with other homes or other properties that are being sold in that same area. How can you maximize the value of your asset?
So right now, what is selling is gray paint, white paints, a home that smells like you've just baked a cake.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that you know that. That's if everything else is perfect, it's priced correctly, you've hired the best marketing team for it, then it just has to feel like home. Yeah.
So basically, when you're selling a house and people are coming to view it, go and buy in apartments cookie mix and just bake.
And just put it in there for viewings. Open the oven a little bit, close it.
Yeah.
You have your sale.
Like before they come in, and then waft it around the house a little bit. Okay. What's your pet peeve as a property specialist, either relating to buyers or sellers? What's one thing you wish either party knew that would make interaction smoother between all of you?
My pet peeve is clients who hire you and then they do the complete opposite and then they rehire you to clean up the mess. So I think the industry is not dignified as well as it should. I am handling one of the biggest transactions of your life. And if you're going to hire me, it's important that you trust me. And if you do not, it's important that you hire someone that you do trust.
Is it possible that when they rehire you, you can hike up the price?
Yes, I always do.
Nice. Okay. So taking a bird's eye view of the industry at large, what are some of the friction points within the industry that you feel are unnecessary, and what are some of the ways that we could alleviate those?
So first and foremost is access to education.
Mm-hmm.
I think consumers do not know what to buy and where to buy.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the middle class in particular
Mm-hmm.
could take advantage of a lot of advantages
Mm-hmm.
that have that are brought to them, or resources that are brought to them from
Mm-hmm.
institutions, banks, governments, you name it. And because they do not know how to access them, and those who do not know, or some people don't even know that they exist.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's first and foremost. We are not educated enough. We do not know what to do with the money that we have, so we spend it on frivolous things. I think the second thing would be access to good quality service.
Mm-hmm.
I think property practitioners, and they might kill me for this. We have a whole group. They will kill me.
Is it a WhatsApp group with all of you on it?
It's a Facebook group.
A Facebook group.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of practitioners focus on commission. Just get the deal done, whatever it takes. They do not care about user experience or your needs and how to make sure that you're protected throughout. I think the reason for this is that a lot of them, when you call me, you say to me, would you take 5% over your 8.5 or whatever that I'd be asking at the time? And with that, it's just, let me just get this over and done with. But you pay for a service and then you get the most amazing service.
If you've learned anything from the conversation we've had with Nomsa today, let us know on social media. We are at the Mo Talk Show ZA on all social media platforms. Now, Nomsa, before I let you go, I do have one last question for you.
Okay.
What advice would you give to your 20-year-old self?
Advice I'd give to my 20-year-old self. All the consumer goods are not the cream. Build quality relationships. Make sure that your credit is good. Save or invest money. Buy as many properties as you can. And travel.
And travel, that last part. Fantastic point. Yeah. Thank you so much for gracing us with your insights.
Thank you so much, Mo.
We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this episode of the Mo Talk Show. This season, we're talking about all things money matters. I've been your host, Mohammed Shehu, and I'll catch you next time.